I came to SEDEP when we had a number of 1,200, which we sang for over 2 years, and we were not able to move forward. But now that we can brag of 100 and above, 100,000 titles, that is a very big milestone. I want to thank our top management team led by our minister. She has been supportive in all things. We've issued the titles all over the country, and she has personally been there. Honorable, we are grateful with your team.
We want to thank the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and in particular the ministers and the PSST, plus our other colleagues that we work with, who have been very supportive in as far as running this project of SEDEP is concerned. The World Bank, that gave us funds, and that has been working with us and supporting us in one way or the other, and their support has been very helpful. The final output is to have these titles in the hands of the beneficiaries, not in the EMSO office, not at the district office. We have guidelines which we will share with you in as far as issuing these titles is concerned. The minister will be making more clarification on this, but my request is that you work with the local leadership, with the RDCs, to make sure that these titles are received by the beneficiaries. We'll make provision for facilitation for that. And you will also go out to educate the people on how best to utilize these titles, how they should use them to support economic development, to be used as collateral, and so on and so forth. So we'll request that you take up that and realize so that the people realize the benefits of these titles.
As pledged by the NRM government, this ministry has processed freehold land titles for citizens under 5 EMSOs. We have the EMSO of Soroti, Jinja, Mbarara, Masindi, and Arua. Those are the EMSOs that have been implementing the SEDEP program and the SLAAC project. The systematic land adjudication is an innovation of the NRM government under His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni that ensures no one is left behind during the government's promised land mapping and registration exercise. So far, the ministry, with the support from the World Bank, has issued the nationwide titles to citizens as part of resolving the uncertainty of land rights countrywide. Where unregistered land and interests are ascertained in a systematic manner, parcel by parcel, everyone, regardless of their socio-economic status, education, literacy levels, including the vulnerable and marginalized, are included in securing their rights under this highly subsidized government intervention. The cost paid by the owners for a title is 85,000 only, and the remaining cost incurred and paid for by the government. We all know very well that it is very costly for one to process a title for an ordinary person, because processing a title requires a surveyor, requires a fiscal planner. It's a chain that has to be followed, but with also some cost implication. I was told that processing a title can cost between 5 million to 10 million, which majority of the Ugandans in the countryside may not afford. And that's why His Excellency saw it wise to introduce this project to help the ordinary citizens in realizing their land rights. If these landowners had been left without government support, it would be very costly for them to register, which most citizens couldn't even afford. As we conclude the implementation of the current NRM manifesto, the government is committed to assist landowners in acquiring land titles to the land they hold will continue. Because once land is registered, it will help curb land disputes and evictions. But it will also attract investment, because foreign investors always want land tenure security, but also the people who have land and they cannot use it optimally, with an investor, they can make their land more productive and effective. We are also doing this to protect citizens from consequences of lack of legal documentation. Citizens need to appreciate this government effort to ensure that all landowners acquire a document from the government showing the ownership of their land, and stay informed about how best to protect and use their land optimally without any threats. The government also launched a public portal under the Uganda National Land Information System, which is a reliable and accessible platform that allows individuals to check on the status of their land, confirm ownership, track transactions, and access other crucial land-related information without the need to travel to a zonal office. All face the delays which they normally meet in those respective offices. I strongly encourage residents, local leaders and stakeholders to check and protect their land interests, ensure transparency, promote accountability in land management throughout the country. I want to thank our development partners, including the World Bank and other stakeholders and interested parties, for their support in helping the government fulfill its pledges to the people to secure their land rights by acquiring land titles. The respective political heads in the mentioned districts, in liaison with the RDCs, will organize public events in the respective areas where SLAAC has been conducted to hand over these titles which you are taking to the MZO offices. We all know very well that these titles must not be kept at the MZOs. They should be actually delivered to the beneficiaries. So when you go back with the guidelines, you need to get in touch with the RDCs. RDCs to identify political leaders who will preside over the function of handover of the titles to the beneficiaries. And we will need also to have a record of what has been issued to the beneficiaries and probably what is remaining. And we also want to ask you to remind the beneficiaries to pay the government charge. It's very important because right now it's put as an encumbrance, but they need to pay the fees. Let them not sit and wait until when they want to do a transaction, then they are reminded that they did not pay these fees. We are giving them the titles, but the money is too little, meaning that for the work government has done and for the final product that it is now going to be out, what is required is for them to pay that little money when they get it, so that their title remains free of any encumbrance. The titles being handed over today have gone through a process which most of us are familiar with, and we believe that all the quality assurances have been done, and we expect the teams to continue doing the same so that our register, all NLIS, is kept with a true record, but also a record that is reflecting what is on ground. We have tried to minimize on overlaps and double titling because of the way this system has been designed to produce titles massively. Today we are handing over 9,726 titles for Bukedea districts. Serere, 6,606. Soroti, 4,176. Kamuli, they are 4,295. Luka district, they have 488. Isinjiro, they have 1,906. Ntungamo, they have 8,231. And then an addition for Chikube, 1,418, because last week we handed over 1,000. Now for Chikube, they are adding more, 1,418. And then lastly, Maracha, which has taken the day, they are receiving 20,478 titles. I want to congratulate the teams that have been behind this work. I know it's been hectic. People had to work even at odd hours of the night, at weekends. So please, the team at the DPC, thank you so much for working tirelessly to enable us to see some results. Of course, we are expecting more titles because remember our target was 300,000 titles. So if we have done over 100,000, there are yet more titles to be delivered. And we promised to ourselves in the last top management meeting that these titles all have to be delivered in this first quarter, meaning that we have now and September to do what is remaining to ensure that whatever has been done is delivered to the respective beneficiaries. Thank you, Under Secretary, for supervising the teams. Thank you, Commissioner Land Administration, Commissioner Surveys, and the team heads for supervising. So for the Central Region, which is Uganda, most of our land is titled. So our land being titled cannot benefit from this kind of program. What we benefit from is the land fund under Uganda Land Commission, where people with titles have to be compensated, and after buying off that land, then we also go into the process of systematic adjudication and certification to make titles, or subdivision to make titles for the bona fide and lawful occupants on those pieces of land. So the land fund belongs to you, wait also the turn is coming for you to get titles from government. Thank you.